how to identify your intuition. Your intuition is very, very powerful, and your intuition is significantly underutilized. Before we talk about how to identify your intuition, we need to talk about what your intuition really is. We humans split from chimps about 6 million years ago, and we've been on our own path ever since. Only about 200,000 years ago did we finally become humans, and only 10,000 years ago did we invent farming or discover farming. Before that, for all that time, we were hunter-gatherers, and we lived in small bands or tribes, maybe 100, 150 people max. Now, what does this have to do with intuition? Living in a group of the same people your whole life doesn't require any kind of communication intuition. Any type of communication in that context was between people that had known each other their entire lives. The only intuition needed back then would be the kind needed for hunting and gathering. How to track animals or how to read the landscape to figure out where water might be. Only after we discovered agriculture, after we started living in large communities, did we need interpersonal communication intuition. The basic idea of how our intuition evolved is like this. As hunter-gatherers, nobody lied to anybody else. If you got caught in a lie in that context, it would be disastrous. But once we discovered agriculture, once we started to live in large societies, some people found that it was beneficial to lie to other people. You could sell somebody a sack of potatoes that was really half potatoes, half dirt. If you never saw them again, you could make some money selling dirt to people. But then people evolved a kind of anti-lying intuition to kind of sniff out something sketchy about a guy you don't know trying to quickly sell you a sack of potatoes before you look inside the sack. But then people evolved an anti-lying intuition to first lie to themselves so they could believably lie to other people. This is kind of where we are today. So we can define intuition as all the information that comes in through our senses but bypasses our conscious mind. And this was very, very useful back in the day when we had to be very careful about listening to people that might be lying to us, because there was no police to call, no judge to go to, no justice system to make you whole if you got taken advantage of. But modern intuition is a very, very delicate kind of communication. It's made much more difficult by modern technology, and it is very, very easy to misinterpret. One of the biggest obstacles to being able to truly understand your intuition is your hindsight bias. Plenty of studies have been done that shows how we humans make up stuff about an event that just happened, and then we believe that made up stuff is actually how the event went down. Then we can believe we knew that was going to happen. Our ego doesn't like to be caught off guard. Our ego doesn't like to be surprised by unexpected events or situations. When unexpected things happen, it makes our ego feel like it's not in control of our lives or our environment. This is something our ego does not like. Our ego loves to believe that we are in control more often than we really are. So we kind of pretend we knew something was going to happen so we don't have to feel that way. So you can sort of see how this post-event storytelling we do to ourselves can mess up how you interpret your intuition. So how can you identify and strengthen your intuition? We'll go over a couple of ways. One is to play the lie detector game with a friend. Find a friend that you trust to do this exercise. First, get them to tell you 3 stories. The first 2 stories need to be true. The last story needs to be false. But when they tell the false story, make sure they tell that and try to convince you that it's actually true. These have to be 3 stories you've never heard before. True story, false story. But they tell them like they're true. And when they are telling you the 3 stories, watch them, pay attention to them with defocused eyes. Just allow yourself to be an energy receiver. You are not looking for any particular tells or anything. Just a gut feeling that will differentiate the truth from the lie. This is the calibration phase. Next, have them tell you another 3 stories and also 2 true, 1 false, but this time you don't know which story is going to be the false one. And use your recently calibrated intuition to see if you can tell. You will be surprised how accurate this is. Just keep practicing, keep calibrating, and you'll continue to get better and better. Before long, you will become a human lie detector. The second way to calibrate your intuition is to use a pendulum. This will require another kind of calibration. You can use any weighted object that you have hanging from a piece of string or something. First, calibrate a yes response. Sit comfortably and just let the pendulum swing however it naturally swings. And while it is naturally swinging, make a statement about something you really, really like. Something that you know is positive. For example, I like reading novels. I can't wait to find another good novel to read. When I read a novel, I get sucked into the plot and I love it. Something like that. And then notice how the pendulum swings when you're saying your I like this. This is good for me statement. Next, find something you don't like, something you know is bad for you. Describe a job you used to have that was terrible. Describe an ex that was terrible. Describe a bad decision you made that ended up a disaster. And make these negative statements while letting your pendulum swing naturally. This is your no response, or I shouldn't do that response. Then, whenever you actually need to make a decision about whether or not you should do something, test it with the pendulum. Let the pendulum swing naturally while saying something like this. I'm thinking about doing X. I wonder if I should do X. I wonder if I should keep dating person X. I wonder if I should break up with person X. I wonder if I should accept a job at company X. So long as you're calm and relaxed and you're letting the pendulum swing naturally, you'll get a pretty good read on your intuition based on what you should do. A third way to understand your intuition is by journaling. Only journal about future events, future things that will happen. Think about the event. Meditate on the upcoming event. Then simply write out what you think will happen. As much as you can, try to stay out of your logical mind. Stick to your gut. One way to help with this is to write as quickly as you can or type as quickly as you can, but only for 1 minute. Then leave it. Then later, after the event is over, come back and check what you wrote. If you keep doing this, your intuition will keep getting stronger and stronger. It may take a while, but eventually you'll be able to separate out your true intuition about what will happen versus what you hope or fear might happen. We tend to project our fears into the future, and then later we find those projected fears with our confirmation bias or our hindsight bias. But by relaxing and being calm and staying out of your logical mind, you will give your intuition a chance to shine through. This is very subtle and a very long game process. But if you keep at it, if you keep up with this journaling technique and the other 2 techniques, you will slowly build a very powerful and very accurate intuition. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. To learn more, please visit mindpersuasion.com.